So I was saying like how financially, how that would look for me. So not only I had to prepare myself just investing into the skill set that I have too, right? Because on top of with the certs, potentially just traveling to India and traveling to Bogota, we just have a new office out in Colombia. So it's just like, let me prepare myself of how all this is going to look on me financially now. Not, I can't go into these situations thinking I can take care of it by myself. You get what I'm saying? I have community. Let me expand my community and let me allow my community to help me while I help them. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about that for a while. I'm like, well, who would be the best person for that? And she's the best person for that. I feel as though. So I'm going to propose it to her, see how she feel about it. I know how some people are like living alone and going not to live alone, living under people. You know what I'm saying? So, and we're all older, but I think it hits so many points. It's like, why not? You know what I'm saying?
I'm an ally for
I'm an
that.
ally. Like, I want you to win.
Like an ally.
I want you to win. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like it'll be good. Expand your network, being around people that you care for. Is more to do here. It's not as expensive as other places. So give it take. But yeah, that's what I've been thinking about for a while.
All right,
so.
that's a cold start, because nobody knows what the heck you're talking about. Welcome to the Financial Griot podcast, where we discuss life, money, wealth, and I think it has more to do with actually how we live our lives versus the actual cash dollar signs. And today we're discussing kind of like being prepared before the unexpected occurrence in your life, right? These ideas, things are going on. People always want to go, but they forget to really think ahead about what the roadblocks that they might incur. I've seen it a lot happen throughout my lifetime. I've seen different people go through it, really mess up with their money, their life management, or even their own personal happiness. So welcome to this episode, guys. My name is Lawrence Delva Gonzalez. I am known as the neighborhood finance guy on the interwebs. I am joined by one of my co-hosts who's on silent mode. Her name is Lovely, but the other co-host is also here too.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Atlanta in these streets, like literally outside. I've been outside for a minute, then I come back in and realize how much money I spent. So
that's
I am
like
here.
$130 every time you go outside. Like, have you ever noticed that's the amount? That's the cost now. The cost is $130.
It's a cost, but you know what? It's been amazing. Last weekend, I went out with my coworker and her close friend and her husband. Like we had such a good time at Trevor Noah concert in at the Hard Rock. And then the next day, she had a pool party, a birthday pool party. When I say fun, I scraped my knee in the pool. I'm playing volleyball in the pool.
What? You actually went in the pool? I didn't know black women do that.
I
didn't know that black women did that. Okay, I still don't get it. I didn't know black women do that.
Anywho, I actually swim, Lawrence, unlike you.
Yeah, I'm a Marine. I can't swim. It's okay.
Exactly.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
Yeah,
like, it's not soft spot for me. Like I don't have like therapy I need to go through.
But no, just being out last weekend just reminds me, like, I love to be around people that like, inspires me, that makes me happy. I'm happy seeing other people happy. You know what I mean? Like it's just good vibes, it's good energy, environment. It's just everything. And I don't know, I just had a great time. And I was just telling you about the level of loneliness that I have been experiencing, not realizing I'm not doing anything in my time. So I'm like, how can I incorporate that with people that I care for and love, helping people simultaneously, as well as helping myself too. So that's why I proposed, next weekend, talk to my close friend, see if she's willing to be a roommate along with me. So we'll see how that works out. I'll keep y'all updated.
Yeah, a lot of people are struggling with this. I know you soft dropped it in there, which is the idea of loneliness. And I'm seeing a lot more articles dropped in regards to this generational shift. Because even the people that are working remote, they're now struggling with the idea of loneliness. Like it's different. It's changed the way I think about it. Cause first you're like, yeah, I'm free from going to work. But then I'm like, I'm by myself majority of the time with my dog. Yeah, my wife comes in and out. But imagine if you're just really working remote and you don't even have a significant other. That is a lot to deal with, a lot to process. And we've heard too many sad stories about people that passed. And recently, the Olympic sprinter, she passed at home while she was pregnant. Why? Because to be honest, a lot of people could blame the system, they could blame the family, but we could actually blame the way that we live now as a society, that nobody's around us. And to have a roommate, to have a friend that's close, I think that's going to be very important, very crucial.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would like to put a 2 cents in there because I was very not happy reading that article. Mostly from the perspective, if you read the details, is that it was after people didn't hear her for some days that they went to do a wellness check. And I thought about how a woman is 8 months pregnant and that people don't hear from her for days and it's a wellness check. That tells me she's living a pretty isolated life. She's used to not seeing people every day. Probably communicating with people at least once or twice a day, but not enough that immediately within 24 hours that it was recognized that something is wrong. There's a plethora of like deep things. And like Lawrence, like we can talk about like the medical side and the systems, but community support. I posted a story on my Instagram, and it's something that me and my friend talk about all the time. Like who's around you when your shoulders drop, when things are too much for you. And if there's only so much I can do via phone and text, seeing you be tired is different from hearing you're tired. Being able to bring a cup of soup, being able to support. Like my mom's here, and one of my friends, she's very helpful. And I would think like if I was completely doing it alone, how hard it would be, you know? I have people around that will be like, hey, I'm going to come see your mom, you know, like I'm going to bring her some things or talk to her. Those things make this experience easier. But it's something that I've talked to all my friends. And I think like Atlanta, like we know the issue, but what are we actually doing about it to bring out a solution? We need to do better because it's an epidemic now. Like that's literally what they're calling it, a loneliness epidemic. The stats are over 64% of Americans feel that they're lonely. It's going to cause a lot of repercussions because whether they believe in God or not, I don't think that humans are made to be in isolation. We are social beings. We are meant to be in connection with others. We're meant to see people, live with people, touch with people. And so just to take a pause of that reflection of that, she was alone, taking her last breath with a child in her, and no one was around. And it took days for me to realize that something was wrong.
Yeah, that's absolutely sad.
And we want to mention that she's highly acclaimed in her sport.
Yep. Yep.
Like
Champion.
we talk about those things like work and high level achievements, but they don't matter if you don't have a relationship. They don't matter if you don't have people that care about you. Where's the father? We don't know if she got a IVF. I don't know. We don't know the details, but where's the community?
And I think that's part of the problem too, because it's not just the community, because I wouldn't just put it on the community as far as their accountability to this, but it's also the person. Some people are creating isolation.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally creating the isolation, and then they get to the point where they don't have the people skills anymore to really kind of reconnect, especially after you've severed so many relationships you had in the past. So you're finding people unable to do that, or people that they're so focused on the next thing, the next best thing, the next thing that they're trying to do, the next thing they're trying to accomplish, that they don't know where the issue is going to come in next. They're not giving themselves enough time to breathe, think, slow down, and even just be grateful for what we have. Just literally do that. But it's just a failure all over, and it's a failure on all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really after the pandemic, everything shifted because I was working remote before it became a huge thing. I was working remote up until the time of the pandemic, and the relationships I had, I was really outgoing and social and Toastmasters and all these relationships I kind of developed over that time and being here in West Palm, like you mentioned, Lawrence, it has severed because a lot of people start, retracting into themselves and the isolation they created. Because, people are really hyper vigilant about the virus and try not to be around, pots of people all the time. So it created this atmosphere of isolation. I think the pandemic just really blew it open, because now I'm still cool with those people, but it's not the relationship is not the same. You know what I'm saying? So with everything that's going on, I'm realizing and being more self-aware of, like, I want this for my well-being. I want this for my friends' well-being, and I want to stand into my community, like say, "Hey, I'm here to help, and I want to help you as much as you can help me." But I think us being together would be a better benefit for the both of us, and for now, in the future, or however it works, right? So, it's a lot. It's not just one moving part. It's multiple pieces, how this thing comes together and how it can easily fall apart, right? So we always talk and praise and advocate for community, but what are you doing for your community? Are you reaching out to the people? Are you trying to help them? Are you helping yourself to identify there's issues, right? So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but we started staying a
Yeah.
little heavy, don't you think?
It's always gonna be heavy. It gotta be heavy. Gotta
Gotta
be
be
heavy because we
heavy.
gotta
So
dump it.
this
We
is
gotta trauma
actually
dump.
what's
Trauma
happening.
dump.
Oh Lord.
The
Go
other
ahead,
thing that I
lovely.
wanted to mention, there's another thing I wanted to mention is that frequently how we talk about, we've been talking about the impacts of social media, right? And we've always mentioned that it gives you the facade that you're actually connected. Like you really start to believe that you have connections with these people online, and you really actually, for the most part, really don't. That what social was supposed to kind of be was a spark. I don't remember if you guys remember the site, I think it was meetup.com. And like you could connect with people
They still have it.
online. Yeah. You can connect with people online, you can start conversations or find things of similar interests. But the whole point is that it should have moved into in real life, IRL, as they would say, into real life, because there's something just about going out and walking and going to the park and walking and kind of like airing your thoughts with your friend that makes the day a little bit lighter, makes the week a little bit lighter, or a partner. And I think it's even hard because some people are experiencing loneliness and they do have spouses and children because they've lost themselves in the parenting and the partnerships, that even they are experiencing this isolation. It's just that it's not as seen until like things are broken, right? Until, hey, we're no longer going to do this together. We can't be a family unit because I reached my max. I've taxed out, I'm tapped out, and I don't have anything left in me to give. And I think as a society, we do have to take the time to consider the pros and cons of some of the decisions that we're making. And it kind of go back to the conversation that Lawrence was talking about, taking the hits, is that sometimes we're thinking about, okay, let me post these things so that I could get accepted, but then you're silently going through bankruptcy or silently going through, possibilities of not being able to play where you stay. And so we have to choose. I would actually really like to be happy. I would actually like to be in people's presence and belly laugh and get a drink, or have, like, you can, Trader Joe's is right there, $5-7 bottle of wines, and you can have a quick dinner with your friend. And it's like people are like, well, I don't have time. And it's like, you do have the time, you're just scrolling. And then what ends up happening is that you're scrolling, but those things that you're scrolling are creating insecurities and creating deep gaps within you when you're actually called to live out life. It's not anything wrong with us per se of having the social experience, but I think we've gone overboard. We're doing like the extreme of everything. And I think that's what's causing a hurt. And right now we live in a generation that feels like cutting off people is so cute. Like they cut off everybody. And it's like, you have not learned how to reconcile. You have not learned how to have conflict resolution. You can't tell me that you don't have one good person that you can talk to. At that point, the problem just may be you.
Oh, yeah. I think meetup.com has transformed or evolved into our apps, because on Bumble, if you're familiar, Bumble is one of a dating app, but they have a feature within Bumble where you can change it to finding friendships. Literally swipe and you can look for other girls or other males or whomever and develop some friendship. It's so hard to develop friendship as you get older. like genuine relationships. Most times, you know, as you get older, you probably develop relationships through work or the proximity of people that you're around. But if we're not around people, or we're working remotely, you know, like what relationships, ties do you have, you know? So there's still meetup. I know the website still, they still have meetups, but I think seeing that on Bumble too, I just remember it's like, yeah, women and men, I don't know, I can't speak for men, but women are definitely trying to develop those relationships with other women, or some level of sisterhood.
Yeah, for the men's side, and it's unfortunate, but guys typically already have like functional relationship that they kind of carry through the rest of their lives if they can, either be like high school, college, or peer groups like fraternities or whatever it is, or professional associations. They just stick with those groups, but we don't really make new friends without like this weird side eye. Like when somebody says, "Hey, you want to go hang out?" Like side eye. Like I don't know about you, bringing you or getting to know you at that level. It's a lot. But I think at least in this junction, me and Cleo was talking recently, one of my best friends, and we were like, "Yo, we're gonna have to fly over to go see Alan and his family in Texas this year if we can. Like, I'm gonna try to make it a thing, even though I know there's a lot money's flowing in and out, whatever it is. But I want to make it a priority for that. My other relationships are improved. That means me and Alan have always been cool, but I'm not 100% super cool with Rita because that's his wife. But we haven't, we obviously we love each other, we're fine, but we don't really kind of like, we need to support Rita more. That's why the consensus that me and Clee have, like we need to go over there to make sure she understands she has a support structure on that side as well. So if Alan gets out of line, we're going to knock him outside the head, or we're just going to show up to make sure that him, his family, and his daughter, they're having like like as a family time. We're just coming through, bringing a little cake, celebrating the little girl, and then we flying out. This is what it is. So I want to basically be a solution driver, and I want to kind of get out my own way and make sure that the other person is more secure than I might be. Because I'm very isolationist to begin with. I'm very introverted-ish. I could survive for a while without a lot of like external conversation with a lot of other people. But I don't think that's the same for everybody that I've met with or I commune with. So I definitely need to step out and be like, yo, hey, on every other Friday I'm off. Let me go pass by to see one of my friends to make sure that she's fine or my other buddy is fine. Like just to make sure that they're not completely becoming shut-ins.
Yeah, we don't need that.
It's getting really weird because, especially with the prices going up on just about everything, I
Mm.
think we've also married like fun with spending money, fun with funds. So when you go out to go for a dinner, that's at least 130 for dinner for two friends or dating. It doesn't matter. Two drinks, one entree, one appetizer. That's literally, at least in DC, that's 130. So that's going to stop a lot of people from deciding if they want to go out or not. To Lovely's point, we could definitely bring a bottle of wine or maybe one of those pizzas where you could just kind of do a pizza night, watch the TV, or just be like, yo, I'm just stopping by to say what's up and catch up, play some dominoes, or even do some puzzles, whatever it takes to kind of recreate what we once had as a society. Opportunities where we just get together without the need to pull out the wallet and whip out the credit card.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be important across the board because we got into a place. I think the deep place that I'm in right now is asking myself about how do we move forward and do the things that we know are good to do. Because I don't think that society doesn't know that the way we're living is wrong, or not wrong, but it's detrimental to our well-being and our health. I have one of the companies that I'm working with is a health index, right? And we are living longer, but with very less quality living. So while the year spans have been extended, people are experiencing decline a lot earlier in life. We have a diabetic epidemic. We have a epidemic of hypertension, and there are some underlying studies that shows that there's a social component, not just only a physical or a health component, but a social component to why people are experiencing these diseases. And so I'm calling, like, you know how we have heart disease, but like it's a societal issue that's dealing with how we're executing our social construct now. And it's causing people to literally have very long-term detriment to their health because of the lack of just laughter and joy in their lives. So I want everyone to understand that when we're talking about this, we're not just talking about on the surface level just for you to have a better time, but even your health gets improved when you're around people. You live longer in a more quality way, not just with years, but you quality live better. You laugh more. You are not being killed by stress because you could be eating right, doing all the right things. But if you're undergoing a lot of stress, cortisol will break you apart.
Yeah, those things matter as you get older too.
Yep.
Cortisol with stress levels and everything, like that's stress can literally kill you. I don't think people understand the importance of bed rest, importance of being around people, the connection of just laughter and laughing with other people that you care for and want to be around. So all those components are in connections for a better life.
Well, for anybody that's listening, try to take these actionable steps in deciding for yourself how you're gonna step out a little bit. Maybe it's like every other Saturday or even at least once a month, decide to go play softball, kickball, volleyball with somebody. Like we used to really get out, and I don't think we get out as often, and I don't think we're showing as much joy in our lifetime. And I think it's an opportunity for us to really change up the way we are, hit up your I guess also even to a certain point, reconcile with some people that you might have fallen out with, like just to say, hey, maybe our relationship can't be what it was, but let's reconcile what, our issues are before anything else happens. Maybe that's just one of those things you can do. Simple little things that adds a lot of value to our lives.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Lawrence, because there's a friend that we used to be friends in college, and she just kind of like up disappeared type of situation. And I kind of was like, well, I don't remember doing anything or whatever else that caused like the disconnect. But she was able to contact me. And something she said, it really stuck with me. She's like, I've been feeling in my spirit to call you and just to talk to you, but I was so afraid of the rejection because you didn't do anything wrong to me. And I didn't know how you would receive me. And her being able to say that allowed her vulnerability and honesty, allowed me to be able to say, well, what was going on? What happened? That it's been years that we haven't really communicated, except for the death of a family member at one point. And her being really honest about where she was, and also saying like, hey, I don't know where this would be, but I want you to know that I actually do want to be in connection. I want to know you're okay, and vice versa, allowed for a restoration. It may never look like the way it was, or maybe it'll even be better. I have no idea what the future holds. What I do know is that open door of understanding. So a lot of us, I think, it's afraid of that, the rejection piece. Like, man, I don't know how they're going to react, but it's like, just do it, because you don't know what healing that can bring on both ends. Like, there are times that you need to go in the past and not necessarily try to remake it, but just close that door of saying, hey, I did this. And then it's now not on your heart, and you're not carrying that on your sleeve anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm still petty though.
Alanta, do we need to get you
it's fair. I had a friend.
I'm still petty. Like I feel as though if I communicated to you and to say like, if I done something, I apologize. Like I try to be at least the bigger person majority of the time. At least I try to be. But if it's not reciprocated, like that memo, I'm done. It's okay.
Well, and that makes sense. That's what I mean, like that closure. Some people don't have any form of closure. And I think at the very least, at least on your side, you had the closure. If you tried, they didn't respond. If you tried again, they didn't respond. There's nothing you can really do about that. We have a friend now that's all but disappeared for 6 months and then he tried to resurface. And then we have, try to have a conversation like, oh, grown man, he said he doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to talk. We're like, all right, cool. So ever since then, we haven't talked to him, or he said he could talk to us 2 weeks from now or something. And we're like, okay. But at least at this point, we've done everything we could for the last couple of months, making sure he's fine, making sure everything's good. And, he did reject us a couple of times. So at this point, we've done our part. I could sleep really great at night. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I sleep great at night. I'm like, it's not on me. But at the very least, that tab is closed. Some people are carrying grudges from people that they long haven't seen. To that one story that my mom was carrying a grudge against my grandfather. And he was, at least at that time, he was dead for like 3 years. She was literally carrying a grudge on the guy that died. It blew my mind because she was like, oh, he didn't, when I came by and I was the only one to make sure that he's fine at the hospital, so on and so forth, he didn't say I love you. I'm like, wow, and you've been carrying this sucker for 3 years. Deep. And the guy was on his deathbed. I don't know what he thought, to be honest. Whatever she internalized so negatively. I'm like, but she was carrying it for a total of 3 whole years as to how she felt about it on a guy that could never reciprocate those words. So it's a lot of heavy stuff we hit y'all with today, but I promise you it pays off in dividends in the long run. The more you actually have good established relationships where you're having communication with people that are progressing or even just amicable enough to actually be very positive and constructive, you'll find that your life improves and you find that, I guess prosperity comes to you. It's not prosperity gospel per se. It's not going to give you a mansion, but this is something going to give you peace of mind, in my opinion.
True. No, I love these conversations. It's like therapy for me.
Oh, we doing therapy again, huh? Okay, all right. Gotta be petty out here, but it's okay. With that being said, I'm going to be signing off. My name is Lawrence Delvin Gonzalez. You can find me on the interwebs, and I'm sometimes very petty. If you come at me with a different attitude, I come back at you. I'm Dade County all day. Dade County. I don't know where that went. I don't know where that went.
Me either. You can catch me on IG streets. My name is Atlanta_Elson. What about you, Lovely?
I'm in Miami. We always be threatening people for no reason.
Right.
That's a problem.
305 till you die. Oh,
you know what I mean?
From Miami. She's not like you.
No, she's not from Miami. She is definitely not from Miami.
You're not from
Miami?
You
can tell. She sound rich every time she talks.
I'm not from Miami, actually. I really am not. I went to school in Miami.
In Miami, gotcha.
Yeah. But
she passed by. She was a tourist. She was a tourist in Miami. She ain't come through like that.
I didn't. It was really Dawn that really kind of made me like, oh, yeah. I had to eat these Asian foods in Miami. Other than that, I really wasn't around. But this was a great episode. I hope you guys enjoy listening. And you can find me at Lovely Martels. I think I said that, but anyways, we're out.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Griot podcast, powered by the Wealth Builders Collective.